The chicken sitting in your fridge right now, the one you bought at your local grocery store, probably yesterday would be seized at the border in over 170 countries. Not because it's expired, not because it's contaminated, not because anything is technically wrong with it, but because of what was done to it before it ever reached that packaging, before the label, before the price sticker, before it was placed under those bright supermarket lights. And here's the part that will stay with you. The process I'm about to describe is completely legal in the United States. Completely standard, completely normal. You've eaten this chicken your entire life and nobody ever told you what happened to it first. By the end of this video, you will never walk through a grocery store the same way again. Stay with me. To understand why this matters, you first need to understand the sheer scale of what we're talking about. The United States produces over 50 billion pounds of chicken every single year. That's not a misread. 50 billion pounds. The US is the world's largest producer of broiler chicken, the kind you eat. Not the second largest, not top 5. Number 1. Some facilities process over 1 million birds per week. A single plant. One building, 1 million chickens, every single week. At that speed, at that volume. Maintaining perfect hygiene at every single stage of production is, by the admission of the industry itself, practically impossible. Feathers, blood, waste, bacteria. It all moves through the same system at the same breakneck speed. So American food regulators faced a choice. Do you slow everything down? Do you rebuild the entire system from the ground up? Or do you find a fix at the end of the line? They chose the fix at the end of the line, and that fix has a name. And that name is the reason American chicken is banned in over 170 countries. After slaughter, after processing, after the bird has moved through the entire production line, American chicken is washed. But not with water. With a chlorine-based chemical solution. The same chlorine family used to treat swimming pools. The same chemicals used to sanitize hospital surfaces. Applied directly to the meat you're going to feed your family tonight. The stated purpose is bacteria elimination. Salmonella. Campylobacter. E. coli. Real threats. Genuinely dangerous pathogens that kill people every year. The chlorine wash is designed to kill those bacteria at the final stage before the chicken reaches you. And in terms of raw numbers, it works. Bacterial counts drop. Contamination rates go down. On paper, the chicken is safer after the wash than it was before. Why is it banned in Australia, Japan, and over 170 other countries and territories? Because those countries asked a different question. Not does the wash work? But why does the wash need to exist in the first place? If your chicken requires a chemical decontamination at the end of the process, what does that tell you about what happened at the beginning? This is where it gets genuinely fascinating. Because this isn't just a food safety debate, it's a philosophical debate. A values debate, and it exposes a fundamental difference in how the US and the rest of the world think about risk. The American approach says, control the output. It doesn't matter what happens in the middle of the process as long as the end product is safe. Clean the chicken at the end. Test the final product. If the numbers look good, it's good. The European approach says, control the process. Every single stage from the farm where the chick is hatched, to the truck that transports it, to the conditions inside the processing facility must meet strict hygiene standards. Not because you're testing the end product, because you're ensuring the product never gets contaminated in the first place. Think of it like two different approaches to running a kitchen. Kitchen A is chaotic dishes piling up, surfaces unwashed, staff moving fast. But at the end, everything gets sprayed down with industrial disinfectant. Kitchen B is immaculate, every surface cleaned constantly. Every person following strict hygiene protocols at every step. Both kitchens might pass a basic safety test. But which one would you rather eat from? The EU made their choice. And it has consequences that go far beyond just chemistry. Now, to be fair, because this channel doesn't do one-sided, let's look at what the actual science says. Multiple peer-reviewed studies have confirmed that chlorine washing does reduce surface bacterial contamination. The FDA and USDA both classify it as safe at the concentrations used. The chemical residue left on the meat is, at those levels, considered non-harmful by most mainstream toxicologists. But here's where it gets complicated. A 2019 study published in the journal Epidemiology and Infection found that despite significantly higher use of chemical washes, the United States has dramatically higher rates of Campylobacter food poisoning than the United Kingdom. Countries that ban the chemical wash have better outcomes on the very pathogen the wash is designed to eliminate. How is that possible? Because the wash addresses the symptom, not the source. European farms invest heavily in preventing bacterial spread at the farm level. American farms invest in eliminating it at the processing level. And the data suggests that prevention beats treatment even when the treatment is chemical and the prevention is just hygiene. There's also the question of what else the chlorine wash might mask. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Chlorine doesn't just kill bacteria. It can also remove the visual and olfactory signs that bacteria were present. In plain English, it can make chicken that was poorly handled smell and look fine, when without the wash, you'd know something was wrong. This debate isn't just scientific, it's political. And it's been driving one of the quietest, longest-running trade wars in modern history. When the UK was preparing to leave the European Union, one of the most explosive negotiations was about used chicken. American trade representatives pushed hard for the UK to accept used chicken imports as part of a post-Brexit trade deal. The British public responded with something close to outrage. Chlorinated chicken became a political flashpoint. Members of Parliament debated it. Protesters demonstrated outside government buildings holding actual chickens. The UK ultimately maintained the EU ban. The trade deal stalled partially because of it. Think about that for a moment. A chicken. A single food safety policy. That's how seriously the rest of the world takes this. Meanwhile, in the US, most people have never heard of chlorinated chicken. It's not on any label. It's not disclosed at point of sale. The average American consumer has no idea this is happening. No idea there's an international controversy. No idea their everyday grocery store chicken would be turned away at borders around the world. So what does this mean for you practically? Here's the honest answer. If you eat conventional US grocery store chicken, you are almost certainly eating chicken that has been chemically washed. That is the standard. That is the default. At current safety standards, the risk to you personally is considered low by most mainstream health authorities. But low risk and no risk are different things. And informed consent matters. Look for USDA Organic Certified Chicken Organic Certification prohibits chemical washes. Look for labels that say air-chilled. Air chilling is the alternative processing method used in Europe and is becoming more available in American stores. It costs more, but you know what you're getting. And most importantly, ask. Ask your grocery store, ask your butcher, ask the brand. Because the moment consumers start asking questions, the industry starts changing answers. The chicken in your fridge is legal. It's regulated. Most experts say it's safe, but it's also banned in over 170 countries. Rejected by international trade partners. At the center of a decades-long food safety debate that the American public has largely been kept in the dark about. Same bird, same name. Completely different process. Completely different standards. And a completely different level of transparency about what happens before it reaches your plate. Now here's what I want to know from you, and I genuinely want to know this. Drop it in the comments. Does this change how you think about what you eat? Are you angry? Unbothered? Do you think the US system is fine, or do you think we deserve to know more? Tell me, because this conversation matters. If this video opened your eyes, share it with someone who eats chicken every day. Which, let's be honest, is almost everyone you know. Hit subscribe, because we go deep on the food industry, global controversies, and the things nobody puts on the label every single week. And remember, the most powerful thing you can do as a consumer is simply know more than they expect you to.